Good morning.
Morning.
Welcome to our Father's Day service. The ringing of the kansho signifies the start of the service. Please sit quietly. Please rise for the chanting in Pali and English of the Vandana Ti-Sarana on page 165.
Namo No more doubts. No more doubts.
Please be seated. Please now turn to page 112 in the red Jodo Shinshu service book for the Sutra, Praises of the Buddha.
Your face shines in great splendor, boundless, wondrous dignity, such the greatness of your light, beyond all comparison, brightness of the sun and moon, and the shining mani jewels, when compared to your brilliance, seem to us like blackest ink. Tathagata's countenance transcends all comparison. The great voice of awakening resounds through the 10 quarters. Your precepts, learning, effort, meditation, wisdom, art, virtues beyond all compare, ultimate, supreme, and rare. Your deep meditation has fathomed all the Dharma sea to the limits and the depths of all things the Buddhas teach. Ignorance, anger, and greed, the world-honored one has none. Like a lion among men, measureless your great virtue, vast are your great virtuous deeds, wisdom deep and so sublime, your radiant luminous light shakes all the world's foundations. When I become a Buddha, equal to the Dharma King, I will transcend birth and death, liberating all beings. My giving discipline, mind, precepts, patience, and effort, meditation and wisdom shall be supreme, unsurpassed. I will attain Buddhahood, everywhere fulfill my vow, bringing to all those in fear great peace and tranquility. Though there are myriad Buddhas, beyond measure, beyond count, and great sages numberless, like the grains of Ganges sand, I will honor each of them, equally accepting none. Even more importantly, I will seek the supreme way. Even though all Buddha worlds are countless as Ganges sands, even though all lands and realms are boundless without measure. Yet my light shall reach them all and illumine every place. Such shall be my perfect work, such my power infinite. When I attain Buddhahood, my land will be first and best, place of practice transcendent, its people sublime and rare, land equal to nirvana, beyond all comparison, with pity for everyone, I will carry all across, all who come from 10 quarters, to be born into my land, to attain pure joyful mind, peace and great tranquility. Be my witness, Buddha, please. Confirm my sincerity. Now that I have made my vows, I will strive to fulfill them. Buddhas of the 10 quarters, with your wisdom unhindered, may all of these honored ones know my deepest intention, even though my body must bear great pain and suffering. I will persevere and strive patiently without regret. Namandabu, 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 Namandabu. The virtue of Amida's vow is shared equally by all, together attaining awakened mind. We are born in the land of peace. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.
Please rise and turn to page 4 in the same Jodo Shinshu service book for the Creed 2. Casting off the self-power mind of the varied practices and disciplines,
we entrust ourselves single-mindedly to Amida Tathagata to save us in regard to the one great matter of birth. With one thought moment of entrusting, we know that we are saved and that our birth is settled. After this, we say the name in joy and gratitude, repaying the Buddha's graciousness. We acknowledge gratefully that we are able to hear and understand this teaching because of the benevolence of our Master having appeared in this world and of the successors in the transmission, the good teachers whose words were not shallow. Beyond this, we'll observe the established rules of conduct throughout our lives. Namo Amida Butsu.
Please continue to stand for the Gatha Hotokesama 2 on page 74 in the Brown Praises of the Buddha book. Please be seated. Dennis Tashiro is our inspirational speaker for today's Father's Day service.
See, Naomi put so much pressure on me. Okay, as I get organized here. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I hope everyone's enjoying your summers. You kind of know it's summer. You know, you open your electric bill and like, hey, how come my bill is so high? Then you realize you've been running the air conditioner on so long. Well, this has only been barely a month, I think. Imagine how it's going to be the rest of summer. It's been hot and humid. Okay, what is special about today? June 19 is special for the following reasons. It is National, wait a minute, it's National Eat an Oreo Day. 2 weeks ago, Neil Yamamoto talked about the main dish. Last Sunday, Reverend talked about the side dish. Now here we have the snack. And not to worry, we get to have this when we finish our service and we go over the other side for refreshments. Okay? So, don't lick your lips, not yet. Okay, it's also National Garfield the Cat Day. Garfield was one of my favorite characters. I haven't seen him on a cartoon strip or anything for a long time, but I just liked his character. Sometimes he's such a sourpuss and, he gets so moody. But I enjoyed Garfield. Today is also National Dry Martini Day. I bet most of you don't drink martini. Some of you guys probably want this to be National Sake Day, right? That's more appropriate to us, right? Okay, today is also Family Awareness Day. This day is a reminder to be aware of the importance of families across all cultures. It's International Day for the Elimination of Sexual Violence in Conflict. This was established by the United Nations in order to raise awareness of the need to put an end to conflict-related, that is, war-related sexual violence. Today is Juneteenth. Juneteenth was established to celebrate the end of slavery. President Joe Biden signed a bill last year that set aside Juneteenth, as a federal holiday. The national awareness of race issues helped set the stage for Juneteenth to become the first new federal holiday since 1983, when Martin Luther King Jr. Day was created. The celebration of Juneteenth started with the freed slaves of Galveston, Texas. Although the Emancipation Proclamation freed the slaves in the South in 1863, it could not be enforced in many places until after the end of the Civil War in 1865. On June 19, 1865, the Union Major General Gordon Granger and his troops arrived at Galveston with news that the war had ended 2 months earlier and that the enslaved were now free. Texas was the last state of the Confederacy in which enslaved people officially gained their freedom. The next year, the now free people started a celebration of Juneteenth in Galveston. Its observance has continued around the world. Even events include concerts, parades, and reading of the Emancipation Proclamation. In 1980, Texas was the first state to recognize Juneteenth as an official state holiday. Then today is also Father's Day. Father's Day is a holiday of honoring fatherhood and parental bonds, as well as the influence of fathers in society. Our nation's first Father's Day was celebrated on June 19, 1910, in the state of Washington. However, it was not until 1972 that the day honoring fathers became a nationwide holiday in the United States. Various countries worldwide celebrate fathers and father figures for their contributions to the lives of their children. Although it's celebrated on a variety of dates worldwide, many countries observe this day on the third Sunday in June, just as in the United States. A few countries celebrate their versions of Father's Day as public holidays. No, we don't get the day off. As with most holidays, Father's Day is promoted with greeting cards and stereotypically masculine gifts of electronics and tools. Of course, new golf clubs are good too. Hint, hint. The National Retail Federation projects consumers this year will spend $20 billion on Father's Day gifts. Schools, if in session, and other programs engage children in activities to make Father's Day cards and gifts. I know I treasure the cards and gifts created by my children. I want to share with you a message that was given over 40 years ago. The message was given by Mas Yamasaki at the Southern Alameda County Buddhist Church on January 7, 1979. And he again gave that same message at Kailua Honganji Mission, right here, on February 17, 1991. The message is titled, "The Most Unforgettable Buddhist I Have Known." This is a story about a man who happened to be a Nisei. However, he had suffered a great deal of hardship since he was only able to go to the 6th grade. By the time he was 17, he was given the full responsibility of supporting his parents and all their family obligations and debt. He worked in various jobs, from farming to being a foreman in the fields. He took corresponding courses to receive a higher education so that in later years he was able to obtain a job as a contractor. He got married and started a family, which added another burden to the obligations he had. Later on, his older sister became widowed with 4 children, so he helped them out whenever he could. In fact, even though he was not the oldest, he had 2 older sisters, but in the traditional Japanese style, he was the big brother to his brother and sisters. He helped not only his family, but also their in-laws whenever the need arose, helping them find work or getting them situated. But most of all, he gave them comfort and support whenever a crisis came. He was always there to lend a hand. Because he was a man of great determination, he managed to send all 6 of his children to either a business college or to universities. By this time, he managed his own business and became one of the pillars of his community. He became one of the leaders of the Buddhist church. He served faithfully in practically all the top offices of the church and always represented his church as its representative at conferences until the time he retired, without getting any reimbursements for his expenses or for his time taken off from work. His work at the church led him to build a social hall, being reimbursed for just the cost of materials. And when an unexpected storm wrecked the framework of the social hall as it was being built, he felt that he himself had to furnish the new material to rebuild the framework. So he did that. When the hall was completed, there were other large expenses needed to furnish the social hall, such as the stage curtains, a new obutsudan, tables, chairs, etc. Again, he spearheaded the pledge drive by making a large contribution. During all this, he somehow managed to do the odds and ends type of work at the church or at the minister's house. There was always something that he had to fix: a leaking faucet, a hinge on the door, a washer going out, etc. He always managed to do this in spite of his heavy schedule at work, but postponing the same work at his home. Later, when he passed away, I learned that not only was he doing this fix-up things for his temple, but he was helping the Catholic Church on the same odds and end jobs, as the Catholic Church was next door to the Buddhist church. The priests and nuns paid their last respect to him. That's when I found out that he did all these things. He was really practicing the true dana as a Buddhist, as he did these things without anyone knowing or without any rewards. He was the chauffeur for the elderly citizens of the church, as the community did not have transportation services. He faithfully gave them rides to and from church so that they could attend the weekly services. I could go on and on with his accomplishments, but I just wanted to highlight his great deeds. With all this, he was a father who, in his way, made life a bit easier for all. It is said that as one's life ends, there's a question of how successful was he. We as sentient beings measure this with what has left behind. I would like to think this as what Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote about success. To laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition, to know that even one life has breathed easier because you lived. This is to have succeeded. Yes, this man has more than filled his requirements. Well, indeed, he has succeeded. He, to me, epitomizes a true Buddhist, a most unforgettable Buddhist I have known. For he has left a legacy for his grandchildren, my children, to follow that of a true Buddhist. For you see, this man was my father-in-law, Mr. Wataru Tashiro of Honoka, Hawaii. Masayama Saki was my brother-in-law, and Wataru Tashiro was my dad. When I first read this message, I was very surprised to learn about what my dad had done for his temple, Honoka Honganji, and the community. So it really was fitting, a fitting tribute to him when family, friends, and community members filled the hall that Dad built to pay their final respect at his funeral. Most of what he did took place during my school years, and I didn't notice or appreciate all that at the time. My brother Gary and I spent our free time when school was out, reluctantly helping Dad on construction jobs. We were laborers, picking up scraps of material and rubbish, working with hoes, picks, and shovels, lifting heavy material and pushing wheelbarrows filled with dirt, gravel, or concrete. Those were hard work. As teenagers, we wanted to do better and more fun things during our vacation. Some years ago, I actually built a shoe cabinet, and I was surprised that it actually was sturdy and functional and lasted a few years. When needed, I've been able to make minor carpentry repairs around the house, including replacing screens, repairing a fence, and other odds and ends. These are the skills I learned from my dad. I was only 25 when my dad passed away. My biggest regret is that I wish I could have spent even more time bonding with my dad as an adult. The moments spent together were way too few. So today, on Father's Day, I want to let my dad know something that I didn't have a chance to say. Dad, I wouldn't be who I am today without you. Thank you. I'm grateful for your love, guidance, and support. Father's Day, like many other special days, is about gratitude. Quoting the writer William Arthur Ward, gratitude is the expression of appreciation for what one has. It is a recognition of value independent of monetary worth. Spontaneously generated from within, it is an affirmation of goodness and warmth. Feeling gratitude and not expressing it is like wrapping a present and not giving it. I think I have several presents that weren't given. Gratitude is not a feeling we should have only on special occasions. Gratitude is something we should feel every day. In his article, The Path of Gratitude, Jeff Wilson states, in Shin Buddhism, a main focus is the practice of gratitude. This sets us apart from many other Buddhists. We don't practice to achieve anything, not enlightenment, good karma, a favorable rebirth, or material rewards. We practice simply to give thanks for what we have received. Shin Buddhists say the Nembutsu in gratitude. The Nembutsu is a phrase, Namu Amida Butsu, that expresses our happiness and thankfulness. It isn't a mantra or a prayer. It doesn't accomplish anything other than letting out that bottled up gratitude in a joyful utterance. When we say Namo Amida Butsu, we aren't begging to get into the Pure Land or trying to win favors with the Buddha. We are saying how wonderful to receive so bountifully. Thank you very much. We are indeed grateful for the boundless compassion of Amida Buddha and to be embraced and accepted just as we are. And we are grateful for our dads and for Oreos. Thank you for listening to my message today. Namo Amida Butsu.
Was I right when I said inspirational? Thank you very much. You know, Dennis, up until today, I think the only person I have called sensei while in temple is sensei. But today, Dennis, thank you. You are sensei. And, you know, his title was about being a Buddhist. Where is Shirley? I want to remind her about what we talked about just this morning about being Buddhist. Thank you, Shirley. Please rise for the Gatha with these hands on page 174 of the Brown Praises of the Buddha book, and then continue to stand for Nembutsu on page 107.
take my refuge in Amida Buddha and dedicate myself to his service. May his teachings guide me during the day in my work and in my play. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Thank you. Prudence?
Good morning.
Morning.
Wow, Dennis, I didn't know there were so many special days for today. Oreo Day. Let's see, we have some guests today. Ruby Nagao, Miyoko Shimoda, and Everly's dad, Andre. Nice to have you. See, Dennis, you bring so many guests to us. You should speak more often. How's that? Yeah. Thank you for the Dharma Talk, Dennis. And Naomi for being our MC, Ellen for serving as greeter, Lisa for playing the piano, and of course our lay assistant in training, Cynthia. Thank you. Refreshments for today is by Lisa and her group A, and thanks Ryan for recording it. Now next week is Remembrance Sunday, so those of you that want to recognize people that have passed away, or people or pets that passed away this month in any year, you're welcome to have them recognized. There'll be a sign-up sheet for you, so just sign in on that. Now July 3 is our Obong service, and our guest speaker is Reverend Jan Youth. So again, for those of you that want to have your family members honored during Obong, please bring a picture, the ihai or the kakocho, one, and then we'll put it up on the altar. June 24th, I think it's a Wednesday, right? We're going to have making takuang. So some of the men folks pulled the takuang, so the daikong, so the daikong's in the refrigerator. So on that day, if some... Thursday, sorry. 24th is a Thursday, okay. So they want to begin washing the daikong about 7, and then they'll start slicing it about 7:30. So those of you that can come down and help wash the daikong, be here by about 7, and those of us that want to come and help slice, be here by 7:30. Okay. Any other announcements?
We got a limited amount of bitter melon to sell today.
Oh.
We also got a few mango chutney left, $10.
Okay, thank you, Roy. All right. So in recognition of Father's Day, for all who are fathers, uncles, brothers, grandfathers, there's a tray of apples in the back there. So please take an apple with you before you go to have refreshments. Okay, so if there's no other announcements, let's turn to page 126 in the small red book for words of thanksgiving. We are truly grateful for this wonderful food, a gift of life. May we
Share
share
its benefits with all beings.
all beings. As we partake of this food, let us remember Amida Buddhist compassion, which surrounds all people and all forms of life. Namo Amida Butsu. Itadakimasu. Thank you. We'll see you next week.